I have over 1,000 subscribers, people that are watching me. So I'm really busy, but I will try to inform you guys as much as I can as to what I'm doing. So this is basically how to increase the number of honeybee colonies when you have limited time and money. Back in September, I used acylic acid vaporizing. I spent the whole month of September vaporizing my colonies 3 times every 5 days and 2 times every 7th day. So basically you end up spending the whole month. And I hit them pretty hard. You know, in other words, I used a lot of acylic acid and I left it in the hive a long time. And I noticed it was kind of hard on some of the smaller colonies. There were dead bees in some of the small colonies. And that's, of course, the time that robbing starts. So I lost probably 10 colonies from robbing and using acylic acid, knocking down the numbers. And the colonies in the windows were put in September. And some of those colonies took off and got larger. And then some of the colonies that are outside actually got smaller. So let me show you what I did with those. Yeah, it's November 2nd. It's actually the coldest day so far this season. Temperatures in the low 40s. It was 30 this morning. And here's some colonies. When I was winterizing my hives outside, I found some colonies that were up in the medium. There were no bees down in the deep. And every time I open a hive and I see no bees in a hive body, I remove that hive body. I don't really want to carry around a big hive. So they're inside. It's not warm enough for them to be flying outside. And here's the sugar that I give them, the domino cane sugar. And because they're actually a little bit warmer, they're not clustered. But if I were to carry them in and out every single day, it would be exhausting. So I will leave them in here for a few days. When they get a warmer day and they're doing cleansing flights, I see bees flying, I will take them out and I will set them exactly where they were before so that they will not get lost. So anyway, I started feeding SERP in September with like 25% of my colonies. I can't do all of them at once, and a lot of my colonies were at different apiaries. And a week ago, I finally got them all home, 155 colonies. And here's the entrance feeders I use, and I don't want to do it right now because there's bees in there. I'll wait until they're flying outside, and then what I do is I take that feeder out and I put this wood filler in there. And if there's any bees, I take and I set the feeder outside and they'll go back into the hive. So some of these are in jeopardy of being lost. I don't have the time to spend with my honeybees like I wish I did, because I'm still doing electrical work to pay for all this stuff. I'm not going to a bank to borrow money to do this. All this stuff is paid for within a few weeks after I buy it or paid for it at the time. So here's a small colony that may not make it to the end of the year. This right here is the Dot's pollen patty. Bees seem to like it, but these bees right here aren't using it right now. But anyway, this is a small colony. I haven't put any sugar in these yet. I'm waiting for a warm day. I'm going to go through and I'm going to check all these colonies for queens. If they don't have queens, then I'm going to combine them with their nearest colony. Okay, let me pause this again. I'm so busy, I haven't even had time to wash my truck. I billed out 18 hours last week, and I probably got another 6 hours in travel time and stuff. So basically 25 hours last week spent trying to earn money to pay for the stuff that I buy. Menards has 11% rebate. And of course, I don't give my electrical customers that rebate. I just save those receipts and I get that rebate check in the mail and I go into Menards and I buy a bunch of lumber. Here's some pieces that are going to be top bar frames. I got to spend time to cut these down. And every little teeny piece of wood that I have, so was it 6 5/8 or 6 3/8 or something like that? It's the smallest piece. This right here is a frame end. These I got to finish cutting these down to the right width. So anyway, there's several hours here. I spent a lot of time making stuff. I don't have time to go through my colonies and check them every 2 weeks. Let me go out here and show you this. Need to have a lot of storage room. I just made these shims a couple days ago. I have no more frames. I have my frame ends ready, but I got to finish those top bars, and then I got to make the bottom of the frame. I got to make this piece here. This is all I have of this. So in order for me to expand next year, to double, I've been doubling every year for the last 4 years. I've got to have the frames. So I got to build frames this winter. In order for me to build the frames, I got to finish cutting the pieces. See, there's enough frame ends here for me for next year. See, I got boxes of them up here. So I spent a lot of time, hours and hours and hours building stuff. And I'll show you how I'm feeding my bees. Here's some stuff I built this summer. I didn't have time to cut out the handle, so I'm going to have to do that too. So I got frames setting out because I'm using those for feeding. These here on top are the colonies I just brought back a week ago. They were at I have 3 different locations for bees. Home and 2 apiaries making honey, and this was the last apiary I had to bring home. And as fall progresses and your colonies stop having brood, they have open frames. So you want to feed them as much as you can. There's no limit to how much food they can have in the hive. I've seen stupid videos. Can I feed my bees too much before winter? No, let them fill up the hive. Let them take syrup until it cools down. When they stop taking syrup, that means it's too cold for them to take syrup. Take it away. So anyway, here's a medium super, and I got a jar up there. I'll show you just like this. So here's some dead bees. I don't know if sometimes they carry bees up and they get it out of the hive and they don't take it out completely because they can't get out. So here's a jar with syrup. What I do is to determine if they're not taking syrup, is it too cold or are they full? I go through and I lift, like this one right here, very light. They don't have enough yet. I'm going to try to leave it in there. Hopefully it's going to warm up next week. And hopefully they'll get enough. I may not have enough honey in that one, so we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, the other thing is you want to listen to your hives. I don't have time to check them. You listen. If they're making noises and you're not smoking them, there's a good chance they don't have a queen. Then look for a queen. If a colony's gotten small for some reason, not normal, look for a queen. You have to learn to listen to your colony and study what they're doing on the outside. If they're bringing in pollen and they're not noisy, they're probably okay. But if they're noisy and things aren't normal on the outside, there's probably something wrong. You need to check it. You don't have time to check. Well, the 155 colonies, I don't have time to check them every 2 weeks or even a month. Some of these colonies haven't been checked since June. Hey, I admit it. I haven't checked them since June. And here it is November. But that's the way it is, okay? Thank you.